so many interesting matchups for week number 3 of Dana White's Contender Series, and a lot of them are extremely close, this being one of them, because we have the return of Bogdan Grad. And if you remember the last time Bogdan Grad was on the Contender Series, he was knocked out by Tom Nolan. But you have to keep in mind that was upper weight class, 155 pounds. Bogdan Grad is not exactly the tallest guy, even for 145 pounds, let alone 155. And he was in there against a guy in Tom Nolan who was a tower of a human being. So the size was a thing. Grad's now down at featherweight, which is where he probably should be. Maybe he could make bantamweight, maybe not, but he should be more of a featherweight. His size fits this division better, and I do think that's going to help him. And it's not like, it's not like he didn't have a chance in that fight. He got caught hard early on, and that's what happens sometimes. So Bogdan Grad makes his return, and he's fighting a guy named Michael Aswell, who is just always putting on exciting fights. So this one should be good, right? This should be a really entertaining matchup. If you were around for week number 2, we did have a good time. We went 4-1 on our picks. That was great. But we did miss the main event where we took the underdog shot, the big underdog on Pat Pitlick, who just couldn't get out of the clinch. But it's all right. Here we are for week number 3. Bogdan Grad, 4-1 in his last 5. Same thing for Michael Aswell, 4-1 in his last 5. And I will say, in that Aswell loss to DeValle or something like that, it was close. I think it was a unanimous decision, 29-28 for the other guy, but I could see an argument for Aswell. I think I wouldn't argue either way. I mean, I definitely thought that there were 2 clear rounds for each guy, and then 1 round was pretty close. So it wasn't like he got, just swamped, right? It wasn't like he got wrecked. Bogdan Grad in that one loss did get knocked out, but that was to Tom Nolan, who is doing okay in the UFC right now. So either way, here we are. Let's break this matchup down a little bit more in depth. We're going to start on the Bogdan Grad side, the familiar face who's been on the Contender Series before. He is a solid striker. In fact, this guy's a very well-rounded fighter, but he's a solid striker with a stiff jab and a tight guard. He's going to keep that guard up. He's going to pump that jab out there, and he does a good job. Now, that didn't work for him last time because of the size disadvantage. Here, it's going to be a little bit better. He's got good head movement, and he picks his shots extremely well, and he has very powerful kicks. So for Grad, if he can remain defensively responsible here, he's probably going to land the better shots. He's got, like I said, the powerful kicks. Those are going to be coming back at Aswell pretty good early on in the fight. But as the fight goes, I think it's going to be harder because he's going to be getting pressed more and more from that. But he does still, like I said, have a really tight guard, and he's able to use those powerful shots when he picks them and finds his openings extremely well. So for Bogdan Grad, I do like the striking a lot. Good grappling as well. He can mix in takedowns, and he will chain his takedown attempts. He's very opportunistic both with the takedowns and with submission attempts. For Bogdan Grad, I think the grappling game plan would be a better option for him in this matchup because I think that's where he has the biggest advantage. He does have very powerful ground and pound, and he's got good defense of the takedowns in his own right. So for Bogdan Grad, if he's going to come out here and win this fight the most efficient way possible, I think he needs to come out and start wrestling early. Because what is that going to do? It's going to, A, put the threat of the takedown in the mind of Michael Aswell, but it's also going to be slow down, put the pace that Grad wants in this rather than the one that Aswell wants, and we'll cover him in a minute. It's also going to allow him to land some damage with the ground and pound, but also win minutes, right? Because typically winning minutes over a guy like Michael Aswell is tough. You got to win moments against this guy because of his output, which we'll cover in a second, like I said. But if Grad comes out and grapples early, I think that's his best path to victory. He can win a striking matchup here. He can. He does have good striking skills. I just think this is the better gap for him. When we look at Michael Aswell, dude's a solid striker as well. Oh, that was terrible. Anyway, he's going to pump the jab for a rangefinder. Just kind of he's not really looking to land a ton with it, for power or anything. He's just finding his range. And when he's finding this range, he's going to start coming forward. And then once he gets that range, that's when the volume onslaught begins. He's just going to keep coming forward, landing shots, and he'll counter back as he's hit. So you hit him, and he just keeps going with his shots. He'll take a shot right on the chin and go. You see this guy get bloodied up and beaten up in a lot of fights, but he's still winning because he's just coming forward and just landing these shots. And he's got good combinations. He works everything, together really well. But it's the pressure, the pace, and the cardio that really stand out for a guy like Aswell. The one drawback to his style is that because he just constantly has output going, he can struggle defensively. Because when you're throwing your punches, your hands are away from your face. You can't have your hands here and also hitting your opponent. It's not how it works. So because he's just constantly just throwing stuff, he gets hit a lot. And when he does get hit a lot, it can look bad for the judges, or he can get busted open. We've seen that plenty of times. He bleeds a lot, but he puts that pressure and pace on guys, and that's why he's 9-1 in the career. That one loss, like I said, was extremely close. So for Aswell, his best path to victory is just putting that pace on Grad early and just kind of outpacing him in the early part of the fight and breaking him as the fight goes on. Aswell is extremely talented in that respect. In the grappling, he's decent, right? He's not. It's not what he wants to do first, but he can get it done there. One thing I really like is that he doesn't really fully commit to the grappling when he goes for his ground and pound. So if he gets a guy and he hurts him and he knocks him down, a lot of times it's just like a volume-based knockdown because he has decent power, but it's not just like put your lights out with a shot. But as he drops guys, he'll kind of get to the ground and pound and start just going from the standing position rather than committing to getting to his knees and landing his shots that way, or even like getting a mount or anything. He'll stay kind of standing and just kind of bend over and throw his punches, which keeps him from getting sucked into like someone's guard or anything like that. So I do like that from him. What I also like, if he's taken down, which Grad may do, Aswell is really good about working back to his feet and just constantly staying active. Even if he's getting held down, he's working hard to get back to his feet, and he's got the cardio to keep doing that. And even if it's supposed to be more exhausting for the guy on bottom, which it should be, he has the cardio to do it, and it'll actually wear out the guy on top just trying to hold this guy down. So for Aswell, being able to just keep working to get back up, I do like that. And he's got very good submission defense. We've seen this guy end up in some bad spots and just remain calm, fight the hands, fight whatever he needs to do, and then get back to either a better position or back to his feet entirely. For me, this matchup is extremely close. I'm going to side with Michael Aswell. And let me tell you why. I think his volume, pressure, and pace is going to be too much for Grad in this matchup. Don't get me wrong. Grad has a really good path to victory here, mixing in takedowns, ground and pound, just control-based with as much damage as possible. And then when they're on the feet, picking his shots extremely well, but making them count. He can win that fight. However, I think that Aswell, what he's going to do is just come out with an extreme just pace. And even though he's going to get hit, probably even wobbled at one point, I think he's going to just put too much of a pace on Grad and get a later finish, maybe third round of just too much and just kind of swarm him. So I'm going to take Michael Aswell. Probably a third round TKO is what I'm leaning for. But let me know what you guys have down in the comments. And while you're down there, if you like the video, it does help me a lot. It helps the channel. I do appreciate it greatly. It shows your support, and it's something you can do for free. Another thing, if you haven't done it already, that should be popping up on screen right now, we have a playlist with all of the Week 3 Dana White's Contender Series matchups. Go ahead and check out that playlist, and you can watch all the breakdowns. Hopefully you enjoy. Send these to your friends, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next breakdown.